We have AuditLA. Unmuted.
Is this for the agenda item or because I'm here to talk on just regular public comment?
That will be at the end. That will be item number. That'll be item number 13.
Okay, and is it 2 minutes for the entire meeting, or if I see something I do want to speak on, like how much time in total?
It'll be 2 minutes each item that you assign for.
Okay, thank you. So I'll just put my hand up when I want to speak. I'm sorry, it's my first time at this meeting, but thank you.
Thank you for coming, and yes, it will be each time that you want to address, just raise your hand for the item that you want to speak on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To
Hi,
save audio
good morning,
highlights.
board. I also want to echo AuditLA's comments. It's my first time here, but I will hold off on my comments for the agenda items and general public comment section. Thank you.
We next have AuditLA. Your hand is raised and you are unmuted.
Hi, good morning. AuditLA, she, her, hers. I want to talk about Hollywood Aja. Okay, she's somebody who was protesting Scientology for their human rights abuses. And Scientology had a thing called fair game policy where you destroy your enemies at
LA, can you please refrain? There'll be a comment right now.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm making a comment about, because I wanted to set it up. This is about legislation. I would like to see legislation to help protect the LGBTQ plus community, because what they did was they got a hold of her, allegedly got hold of her medical records, and then sent it to her boyfriend's family to destroy her, to destroy them. And thankfully, the family didn't care. They're allies. But what if this had happened to a trans person, a trans couple that, where the family didn't know or would be very upset? It could have called, that could lead to suicide. It could have led to any kind of family discommunication, anything, separation, whatever. And so there needs to be some kind of laws that are shored up to protect people from, when they are being attacked like that. I guess it's called doxing, and it's not fair. There's already a higher level of suicide rate amongst trans, which, and then she was strong, thankfully, but it did stop her she stopped protesting, and which is sad. But she had no right, they had no right to out her, her records, whatever she wants to, and she's very open about everything, and that's her choice. But what if there's somebody who's not very open about it? That it's their private business. Nobody has the right to do that to another person. And so I know I
See that time has expired. The next person will be Henry Marini.
Yes.
Hi, good morning. Henry Marini, he, him, his pronouns. And I am here today to talk about some legislative concerns I have. So to lay the background, I'm a reporter. I've been covering activities of the county police departments as well as local LAPD and the city level. And one of the issues I want to address before the board on legislative matters is an issue I see of active defunding for what's called medical evaluation units, MEU units across the board, both at the city, county level. Personal story just to illustrate the backdrop. A friend of mine recently had a 5150 incident. The LAPD, rather than doing their due diligence and supposed to send a MEU unit, which had been slashed from 25 in the past 3 years now down to maybe about 15. It's an absolute disgrace. There was also another incident of a trans person being killed, Linda Moran, who was supposed to receive an MEU unit, did not. And it's deliberate slashing at the county and city level of funds that are supposed to go towards such services. Now, that's really just barely scratching the surface. There's an active, deliberate action at the city and county level, it seems, to actively go and not provide support to vulnerable populations. I'll give another example. June 17th, 2024, there was a trans woman actually attacked on Elmore and Hubbard Way. It was totally unprovoked. They were just sitting on the sidewalk doing absolutely nothing of consequence when a man came up behind them and attacked them. That person was not prosecuted, and that victim was also Aja. who was going and protesting Scientology. And Scientology has a very long track record of deliberately attacking and hating anybody that identifies in the LGBT community. And Aja was stalked and attacked, violently so. And I urge this community to take action on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
On to virtual public comment, we have AuditLA. You are unmuted.
Yes, hi again. I want to bring attention to the library book of, well, I don't know if it's actually in the library, but I'm concerned about it being in the library. It's called Dianetics, because in book 3, chapter 27, L. Ron Hubbard says very horrible things about the LGBTQ plus community. I don't even want to repeat it. It's disgusting and disturbing. And the problem
This is
is
Executive Director Menon. Thank you so much for that comment. It's not directly related to this item, so we're going to move to the next public comment.
okay, I thought it was about library books. Okay.
Yes.
We've moved, next virtual comment we have is, Henry Marini. Unmuted.
Yes, hi. Good morning, Henry Marini, he, him, his. I just want to point your attention to two writers I actually think would be good additions to this event, either as panelists or maybe they have an independent booths. I'm not entirely sure how you would do it, but just my suggestions. And they are self-identified as part of the LGBTQ community. They run two actually big YouTube channels. One is called Literally Surge. He's a poet and writer. And the other is called Literally Michael. They are both significant partners of each other's, and they also hold an art gallery. And I think it would be a great piece to add to the event. They're also survivors of Scientology, and so I think it would be a great addition. You can easily get a hold of them on their YouTube channels. So I just want to put that out there. Thank you.
Thank you. We have, for our virtual public comment, we have Henry Marini. You are unmuted. Unmuted.
Yes, hello again. Henry Marini, he, him, his. I want to address this board's attention to a organization and company known as the Rev Group. And the reason why it's relevant is because they are actually the largest vendor and the sole consortium holder that services the LAFD trucks. One thing you should know, particularly about the Rev Group, is that they've had years, and I'm talking years of terrible worker experience discriminating against LGBTQ identified employees. And it's also a fact, this is a story I've particularly followed for quite a long time now. It's a fact that they specifically have a big hand in actually allowing for the disrepair of the trucks, not only just in LA County, but also all across America, where they keep taking a bigger and bigger slice of the pie. There's direct personal financial incentives from Mayor Karen Bass into the Rev Group. And the fact of the matter is that this is not the first time they've done this. They basically use what's called disaster capitalism, right? They bank on the fact that these entities and areas will not actually follow through and prosecute and hold people like the Rev Group accountable for slashing budgets. It's similar to what you'll see entities like McKinsey and Deloitte do, where you hire management consultants to essentially give frivolous statements, all leading to slashing staffers, and especially the most important staffers, be it maintenance people. And behind a lot of that is a lot of bigoted ideas, particularly with the Rev Group. It involves sheer outright hatred and discrimination against the LGBTQ community. I hope that makes it part of its way to this report, and it's been brought up to the attention of this board, and I hope you take it into serious consideration. It's called the Rev Group. Thank you.
Yes.
We next have AuditLA. You are unmuted.
Yes, good morning again, she, her, hers. And I just want to say I am so sorry for the commissioner that lost her house. That is horrific. And I admire you greatly for so soon being able to come here and press on. I thank you for that. And I agree with you that I think I think it's a shame that you, like, anyone would have to have assumptions made about them. And we do need to kind of change assumptions and language. And I know it's a boat that turns slowly, because myself, I'm part of the ADA community. I'm in a chair. You can very well see that I'm disabled, but there's a lot of people who are disabled that you can't really see, and they also get a lot of questions, and a lot of assumptions about them. So I am very aware of that concept, and hearing this from you, it really speaks to my heart. And I don't know what the answer is, but I think it's really important that we try to find out ways, maybe even through like the neighborhood council meetings or different commission meetings, and just bring more awareness. And I guess that is happening, but I think it's something that needs to be on the forefront. And I didn't even realize that 24% of Angelinos, are, consider themselves LGBTQ plus community. That's amazing. So really, if it's 1 out of 4, then nobody in LA should be is asking you who's what's your husband's name. Like, we should know better. We should be doing better. We should be at the leading the way in that. And so I'm disappointed that that's not the case for you, Commissioner. And I hope that changes. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. We have no further public comment. To virtual public comment, we have 2 now. We will start with AuditLA. You are unmuted.
Hi, yes, I would like to request that you pick a delegate that is also a part of the ADA community, because I think that it would be great to see both communities come together in one person. And I think that would, and I think vice versa, anything with the ADA community should also link up and have delegates, from the LGBTQ plus community. I just think it's a greater way to join forces and to help each other move forward. So that's a very strong request of mine, that you would please pick one, or at least try. And actually, I would like to see if you would seek out and really publish and try to really bring in the ADA community into your community with one of your delegates. And I yield back my time. Thank you.
Yes.
We have one more virtual public comment. Henry Marini, you are unmuted.
Yes, hello, Henry Marini, he, him, his, and I just want to second my good friend AuditLA's comment about the ADA delegate, and I actually want to propose a couple of possible ways that the CESS could possibly do this. One, you could invite neighborhood councils as part of the ongoing discussions and meetings for some of the one way could be you could solicit what's called a community impact statement report to be read onto the record during your CESS hearings. Another could be that you have either a new or an existing board member be the ADA delegate that helps attend as a representative to the neighborhood council meetings, to make that direct connection between the voice of the constituents to the city and county level governments. And I think that's very important because from what I've seen so far, there's only the standard representation for city council members and mayors, but it's very far removed from actually having a direct voice on the ADA community being linked to the LGBTQ community, which I think we all know are 2 of the most vulnerable populations in LA County. And so I think that would be not only in this board's best interest, but also in your constituents' best interest to, at the very least, have it as a formal agenda item for consideration on what that might look like, on who you would appoint as such, and some of the possible solutions on how you could actually execute the person or persons being that delegate, which again I propose to be a representative that sits on a neighborhood council meeting, as well as inviting for soliciting a CIS report, community impact statement report, during your CESS meetings and hearings. So just my 2 cents on that. Thank you.
Henry Marini, you are unmuted.
Thank you, Henry Marini, he, him, his. And to one of the commissioners' point about needing support to actually prove the case for, The training, first of all, I want to say I vote yes for this, and I hope you do too. I'll give you a personal example. Okay, this actually happened as of recently. So there's a committee member who essentially had a nervous breakdown. It was quite clear that they were under immense pressure. What ended up happening was that they made very clear that they were having a mental breakdown and essentially openly threatened suicide upon themselves. And the issue at hand was that no aftercare nor support was provided for this individual. I don't want to out their name, but I'm happy to discuss it afterwards privately. And essentially, the members of the public who were in attendance actually followed up with them. And I think it's very clear, right, as this one case clearly illustrates. Rest of the board members were totally clueless on what to do. I don't necessarily blame them on that part since they literally had zero training on this. I mean, how can you possibly be expected to respond effectively if you literally do not have the skills to do so? But it's very clear, right? It's very clear this is a big issue. And I think another way you can actually get direct support to further the case to actually legitimize it and execute an action is direct uh, working with the neighborhood councils from all across LA County, as again they have direct voice of the constituents at hand, as well as working closely with city and county level committees, and would be able to accurately provide via hard evidence as numbers and personal case stories like the one I just mentioned to you. And so I urge you to reach out to the various neighborhood councils. My friend AuditLA and I are very well in touch with them as members of the public, and I just want to bring that to your attention.
Your time has expired.
Yes.
AuditLA, you are unmuted.
Yes, hi, she, her, hers. And I just want to say I fully agree with what you're doing. And I hope that as you do this ad hoc committee and you look into this further, that what you find that you would also bring it down to the cities within the county so they can benefit from everything that you are doing. And I'm gonna, tag on to what my good friend Henri said about the situations with the 5150s. I was at that meeting, and I don't think that they really take. There's not enough training when it comes to, and this is where it blends with the ADA issues as well, with mental health issues, and there's a lot of people when there's been many numerous incidences, okay, of people who are in mental health crisis, okay, including
LGBTQ.
LGBTQ plus community, and this is about training, okay,
Can
that they end up at the
your
wrong
comment
end.
be related to the topic?
The ad hoc committee, yes, this is what I'm saying. This is something I really want you to look into because it's very serious. Okay, I'm trying to tell you that there's people that die, okay, at the hands of sometimes the police department or whatever because of being in a mental health crisis, and it affects your community. It does. And recently, okay, and so I am saying as you are doing this to please really have a strong emphasis on how the training on how to deal with mental health crises. I was at a meeting where a person said they wanted to kill themselves and they just continued the meeting as if nothing happened. Okay, and it could affect that person. Could have been part of your community, could have been part of the ADA community. I don't know, but these are things that need to be asked and they need to be looked into. It's serious, and so so it is relevant. And with that, I will yield the rest of my time. Thank you.
Yes.
Next, we have AuditLA. You are unmuted.
Yes, hi. I am very saddened to hear that the summit fell through as well. I also advocate a lot dealing with issues with LAPD. The thing with the summit and like you were talking about building bridges, I love the concept of building bridges, but when you build a bridge, it's almost like you're asking, okay, we want to ask you to look at this, we want to ask you to do better and all these things, and that's great. But there's been many people for many years asking. I think it's at the time where it has to be more of a demand. I'm sorry after what happened with Linda Moran, and there's other people as well. There's many victims, okay? It's not just Linda Moran. And none of these things should have happened. And she was in a crisis, and and so you're dealing with that aspect. But there's also just, what about recruiting? They just came out with a flashy new recruiting video. There's nothing there. You could tell they're trying to recruit. They would like to recruit more women. They're underserved in the women, but there's no seeing any outreach that I can tell for the LGBTQ plus community. And in fact, I know that their recruiting department is in a lot of hot water because there's two people that have been found out to be saying very horrible things about different people from different communities. And so there is a huge problem. So building the bridge may not, maybe down the road, or maybe that was a time of the past to build bridges. Maybe now it's more demanding, and really just advocating. And it could be done in a way that's not, we don't have to be nasty and rude and mean, but to be heard and saying, this has got to stop. We don't want people in mental crisis who, being killed. We don't want you to neglect our community. Like you're saying, I'm sure I bet there's plenty of LGBTQ plus community officers who in different, transitioning or whatever. And I can't say for sure because I'm not part of LAPD, but I have a
Thank you. Your
feeling it's
time
probably
has
really hard for
expired.
them.
Yes.
And next we have Henry Marini, unmuted.
Yes, hi, Henry Marini, he, him, his. One of the other things I wanted to bring to this board's attention, in addition to the disbanding, is it is within your authority to write letters of affidavit for not just the sheer act of a disband, but the board's thoughts overall. And you can clearly bring that up as an agenda item for a consensus and discussion to then submit formally. And I think that's very powerful because oftentimes what I see, and I'm not saying this committee is guilty of it, but what I do see of many other committee bodies is they will take an action for moving on something, but they forget that they can also bring forward an action to write simple letters of support in addition to simply just voting yes or no on something. I've seen it happen, particularly, for example, in the LAPD Police Commissioners Board that ties into this, where essentially they set up these astroturfing groups that make it seem and give the appearance that they are trying to build connections in order to actually give powerful voices via not only a voting right, but to actually demand power and to take action upon. But the fact of the matter is they don't. And again, I urge this board not just to do the action of voting to disband, but to actually put on consideration for writing a letter, an affidavit, simply stating what is this board's overall stance and thoughts on the actions that have occurred recently, which we all know are not unique. They are not one-offs, they are repeated. And to the one commenter that made the point about Linda Moran, that has to do with so many other issues, right? The defunding of MEU units, and it's deliberate. And the person that was, I had racial slurs made against them by the LAPD regarding recruiting, that was William Good. Okay, they said some of the most disgusting things about William Good openly. So thank you.
Your time has expired.
Yes.
We're moving on to virtual comment. First, Henry Marini are unmuted.
Yes, hi, Henry Marini, he, him, his. I just want to wrap up a couple of points I've made so far. So I've traveled all across the US. I've done quite a bit of reporting. My particular focuses are on law enforcement, okay, and the way that law enforcement takes a lot of dirty money from technology companies, one of which I've mentioned is the Rev Group. And one of the things I always point out to different boards is that this one in particular is the first of its kind all across America, okay? It's quite unique in that you guys are quite large, not only at the county level, but also the force you can exert at the city level. I urge you to actually throw that weight around with serious fortitude, because you do have some serious power here, not only to enact legislation, but actually, again, I keep pointing writing letters because they are very important. I've been through a lot of different court cases. I've sat at different court cases. And oftentimes what makes or breaks the deal is whether a city or county agency actually writes letters of affidavit for or against something, as well as their opinion piece on it. And it is taken into serious consideration. This board is in a very unique standing to do such a thing particularly for prosecutorial stances on taking action against LAPD, not just at the civil level, but also urging other entities like at the federal level to prosecute entities like the LAPD for their egregious behavior. And you do have the money, you do have the size, and you do have the history behind you to actually have some serious weight to make it happen. You can contact me, info@filmthepoliceusa.com. My good friend AuditLA, she can be reached at audit.in.la@gmail.com. And again, we've been covering these issues for quite a while, and particularly within your county, Scientology is a big, big factor in corruption within the government. So thank you for your time.
Nice.
Next, we have AuditLA. You are unmuted.
I've become a staunch advocate for survivors of Scientology because it encompasses so much that you're not even aware of. And right now, I want to advocate for two friends of mine, Serge Del Mar, who has a YouTube channel at Literally Serge, and Nora Ames, who has a YouTube channel at What's Up with Nora. And because both of them are, Serge is gay, Nora is lesbian, and they grew up in Scientology, in the Sea Org organizations, particularly, there's different sects. And they were not allowed, like you're not allowed to be gay in Scientology. Isn't that insane? L. Ron Hubbard, now L. Ron Hubbard has said many things, like in the Book of Dianetics, which they still pass out and push and sell. Okay, and it's very anti-LGBTQ plus and ADA. And and so they don't, but they've never come out and denied or didn't renounced it because they can't go against anything L. Ron Hubbard said. So as of today, there are Scientology places right here in your community, and they will not renounce the horrible things about that the LGBTQ plus community are degraded beings, that they're low on the tone scale. And they won't say it about the ADA community either. They will not come out and denounce it. And yet and they punish, like I know Nora, like I believe she was a teenager, was put into their correctional facility to be changed because she kissed a girl. Um, that, like, as if that was something that she shouldn't be doing and she needs to be fixed. Okay. Serge too is that, you can't be yourself there in Sea Org. So he was pushed to live a heterosexual life, and it just isn't fair. And I'm concerned that this is still going on for children who are growing up, in Scientology.
Thank you. Your time has expired.